Hello everyone, and welcome back to ESRL. Sorry for the delay there. We are back for Division 1. Howdy howdy to Spelled Wrong in the chat. Why do I have no sound? That is a fantastic question. There we go. Right, let's get everything enabled. And who's first out? It's going to be Palang, but we'll ride on board with some mediums. So right on board with Jack Halako. I'm sure he'll be delighted to know that I am jinxing him on his first run. Yeah, we're back for round 8 of the Division 1 Championship after there was a postponement last week due to the equal performance issue. But here we are in Abu Dhabi. We're going to ride on board with the Scotsman Jack Halako. He's going to love that I called him the Scotsman. It's just so easy to say, Jack. As he comes up to turn 1, committed through this corner. You've got to be so tight to the apex and wide on the exit. Jacko said he had no practice for this one. He's doing all right so far in Sector 1, down towards turn 5. Clemo's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. He must have crashed on his way out the pit lane and it's disqualified him, so he will not be taking any further part in this session. Jack Halako, DRS open down towards turn 6. He's got RS on mediums just a couple seconds down the road. Hopefully he doesn't catch up to the AlphaTauri driver. Braking for turn 6 and around turn 7. Nicely done from Jacko. Could be a little more on the limit through 6 and 7, but very clean lap so far from the Williams driver. RS has gotten out of the way, so he must have invalidated. So it will be Jacko up towards turn 8 and 9. Through he goes, a little bit squirrely at the apex, but down towards the next couple of corners. Brake as soon as you hit that curb, or a little later than that, as Jacko found out as he hit the apex a bit sooner than he expected. Around this very tricky corner here, don't invalidate on the exit, very easy to do. Full throttle through here if you're brave enough, and Jacko is. Round the final corner comes the Williams driver. Is it going to be faster than Palang? No, it's a 23.9. Palang takes provisional pole for now in the Mercedes. Great stuff from the Canadian driver. RS goes P3 after he backed off. DTS Ayrton, can he put it on provisional pole? Yes, he can. A 23.6 from the Haas. Who's going to be next across the line? It's going to be not Scott. It's a McLaren. It's Lifebout. He's the man to watch. A 22.9 beats Ayrton by 7/10 nearly. Here comes another Haas. It's Rick, who's just starting a lap, and the other McLaren of Luke's goes P5 for now. What about Speed Alcoholic, the race winner from last time out in Bahrain? A 22.4 beats Lifebout by half a second. Fantastic effort from him. Who's next? It's going to be Trugster. No, it's going to be Scott next across the line. Around the final couple of corners, he comes flat out through the penultimate. Around the final corner comes the ever-improving British driver. Up to P6 he goes. And then it's going to be Trugster, I believe, who goes up to P5, 1.4 behind Speed Alcoholic. Mar10 purple through sector 1, but that doesn't mean much on the first lap. QB's not on a lap. Rick is on a lap, but I think it's going to be Spelled Wrong next across the line for a lap. He's coming through sector 3 now. And Sandman still in the pits for Ferrari. But here comes Spelled Wrong around the final sector. And the last couple of corners, is he flat through penultimate? Yes, he is. And down towards the final corner for the American/Mexican driver. And it's a 23.5. It's half a tenth, 6/10 off Lifebout, but 1.1 off Speed Alcoholic. There's a big gap there at the front. TF Mar10, though, looking to close that gap as he comes through sector 3, currently sitting P2 in the championship. Short Marcus can't make it today, so Mar10 is the effective championship leader as he comes through the final corner now in the Red Bull. Can he do anything to that Speed Alcoholic time? Yes, he can. A 22.2 beats it by 1.5 tenths. Fantastic lap from him as always. QB coming round. He's not on a competitive lap time though. And Sandman finally on an out lap. So as the initial runs are done, let's see, sign up. Let's see the championship standings. There we go. Right, so after round 7, it is Short Marcus leading the championship, but he's not here today. So Martin, the effective championship leader, he's on 99 points. Short Marcus on 110. So Martin with a fantastic opportunity to retake the championship lead that he lost a couple rounds ago. Speed Alcoholic 39 points down on Short Marcus. He's on 71. So he can't take the championship lead today. He's 28 points behind Martin, but he can get himself back in the title race after missing 2 races, but winning last time out in Bahrain. NER Ayrton, the triple reigning champion, also not here today. It looks like he's not going to be challenging for his title again this season, as he's missed 4 rounds in a row. Well, 4 rounds this season now, 3 in a row, and he's going to be too far off to mount a championship challenge again. So we could well have a new champion in ESRL for the first time in 2 seasons. It'll be 3 seasons at the end of this one, I suppose. Sandman, though, in the Ferrari coming through Sector 2. I don't think I've seen Sandman before, so hopefully he has a good run out there. Let's have a look at the constructor standings, if Discord will load. Ever. Sandman a little bit squirrely there through Sector 3 by the look of it. It's Alpine on top in the constructors with 158 points, and Red Bull on 140, just 18 points behind. It looks like it's going to be a 2-horse race for the constructors. Sandman goes to P4 in the Ferrari. Great effort from him in this first qualifying session that I've seen him in. I think it's his debut. I apologize if I don't remember him. But I think it's his debut. But at the moment, Martin and Speed a class above the rest of the field in terms of lap times. Jack Lacko, though, looking to improve in his Williams. He's only 600ths behind Trugster at the moment. And a 10th down on Palang, so could see himself further up the grid as long as this Haas doesn't get in his way. Okay, the Haas notices just in time that he's coming. Is that Rick? Yeah, it is Rick, so Rick would have known. I know they're in a party. So Jacko just 4 thousandths up in Sector 1, coming to the end of Sector 2 now. And he's just under a 10th up on his previous best, so he is improving. It's not going to be anywhere near enough to challenge the top drivers, but it could see him up a few positions here. It's very close down there in the midfield. He's currently P9, but he's got traffic ahead with this McLaren getting out the way just in time, but that will have been a distraction, and somehow he hasn't invalidated there. He definitely went off through the penultimate corner and down towards the final corner. Has he lost any time from all of that distraction? Towards the line he comes. No, 3.5 tenths improvement from Jacko. So still a good improvement despite all of that, nearly beating DTS to P6. Womax has joined the lobby as well, so up to 16 in this race, which is great to see. DTS Ayrton on a lap. Lifebout as well in Sector 1 at the moment. Is there anyone else immediately on a lap? Spared Wrong on an out lap. Sandman's left the session. Hopefully he can get back in. We've got RS as well on a lap, 4 seconds up after his previous lap where he backed off. It's a 23-1 up to P4 for the Jamaican driver. Fantastic effort from him onto the second row in his AlphaTauri. Brilliant stuff there. We've got Jack Lacko not on a lap. DTS Ayrton, though, he's on a lap. He's half a tenth up, looking to unseat Spaled Wrong from the third row of the grid. Round the final corner comes the Greek driver to the line, a 23-2 up to P5. Unseat Sandman, never mind Spaled Wrong. Great lap from him, very, very close in the midfield. Look at this. RS there. Only half a second ahead of Jack Lacko, who's down in P8, but it's the differences between each position that's the close thing. 600ths, 100th, 1.5 tenths, less than a tenth, 100th of a second, and now even less difference as Trugster goes up to P7 with a better lap time. Palang, I think, improved as well. So everyone improving at the moment. as the track improves. Lifebout as well up to P2. Didn't even notice him improve, but he's all the way up there, only 400th of a second behind Mar 10. Speed Alcoholics improving as well. He's in Sector 3 at the moment, but he was only improving by 100th of a second through Sector 2. He's going to need to find a lot of time in this final sector, right on the curb there at that corner, really on the limit for the South African. Through the final corner he comes now, doesn't get impeded by the car ahead. It somehow teleports back on the track there. I don't know if you saw that. Speed improves by only half a tenth. It's not enough to gain him in position, but it's so close between those top three at the moment. Oh, might need to get a headache tablet after quali. Don't know why I have a headache, but maybe it's the fish and chips I ate earlier. Spelled one coming through Sector 2 now. For his next attempt, he's all the way down in P9, which is we're not used to. He's a race winner this season in Division 1. He won the Qatar Grand Prix in emphatic fashion with... as he proclaimed his greatest drive of his, possibly the greatest drive of his Formula 1 career in that Alpine. And down towards the Sector 2 line, is he improving? Yes, by 3.5 tenths. This is much better from Spelled Wrong. He's looking to get himself on the second row here from P9, which would be an incredible improvement. But again, look how close all the times are from P4 all the way down to P11. It's only half a second. It's so tight between everyone in the midfield. The top three are in a league of their own, but the midfield is very, very tight. Here comes Spelled through the final corner. Doesn't invalidate on the exit or hit the wall. Very easy to do either of those things, but Spelled does indeed get himself up to P4. A half-second improvement from the American, and that's much more like it for the Constructors' Championship leaders, although second driver in terms of driver standings. Of course, his teammate, the championship leader, not able to make this race today, unfortunately. So it looks like most people in the pits at the moment. QB just starting a lap in his Mercedes. And 2.5 tenths up in the first sector, but he's going to need a lot more than that if he wants to get himself up any positions. He's currently 3 seconds down on P13. But here he comes down towards turn 6. Good to see QB back on track. Haven't seen him on track in a long time. Hopefully, maybe he'll come back to APP F1. If you're watching QB, you'd be very, very welcome back to APP if you wanted to race on Tuesdays or Sundays. But here he comes now to the Sector 2 line. He's not improving anymore. So QB struggling in that second sector. But right on the limit through that long left-hander down towards this next braking zone. Seemed pretty good to me, but spins it and he's into the wall and out of qualifying. Oh, that's such a shame. I feel responsible for that as I was riding on board, but that will be it for QB. I think he had a lot of improvement to do to get in that third sector, because that looked pretty good up until the spin. That's a real shame for the Mercedes driver. But next is DTS Ayrton. He'll do another lap, looking to get himself back onto the second row. Or he wasn't even on the second row, in fact. So he's looking to improve. Hello, Louis, in the chat. Can't read your whole comment on the screen, so let me get it. The coaster, why'd you put him in the wall? Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, I pressed the button. I pressed the make driver spin that I'm on board with button. Sorry about that. Finger just brushed over it, and yeah, very easy to press by accident. DTS is 2 tenths up in Sector 2. looking to improve by quite a way in his Haas. It would put him on the second row currently. He's been improving an awful lot as the Greek driver the last few seasons of ESRL. Much like RS, they've both improved a huge amount. It's great to see. I do like the Greek colours on his helmet as well. But down towards the final corner comes DTS Ayrton. It's going to be a 23-0. It's not quite enough to unseat Spaled Wrong. Lost a bit of time in the final sector, but it is good enough for P5 at the moment. And talking of RS, he's on a lap as well, as are many others. Trugster not improving. Lifebout coming to turn 1. Martin just coming past turn 1. So both of them in the first sector. Only 50 seconds to go in this session. These are the last runs for everyone now. Jackalacco coming through sector 1. See if he's going to be improving across the line. No, he's a 10th down in fact. But Scott is improving. He's 2/10 up nearly in sector 2. Round the final corner he comes in the Aston Martin. Can he get himself any further up the grid? It's so close there, and he does get up to P8 with a 23.4. But look how close it is in this midfield. Sandman's on an outlap. He's just about going to have enough time to set a lap. RS will not, though. He's coming through sector 2, but he's invalidated. So he's going to stay where he is or go down further. Trugster into the pits. Palang not improving. Luke's just starting a lap. So let's ride on board with Martin and Lifebout, the two main drivers, and Speed Alcoholic as well. He's 2/10 up in sector 1. Look at this from Speed. What a first sector that was. Spaled Wrong's retired, I think, in the pit lane. As the session now over, everyone on their final runs. Lifebout coming to the line. Martin coming around the final couple of corners in the Red Bull. Can he improve his pole position time? Round the final corner, doesn't invalidate. Yes, a 22-1. What about Lifebout? No, he can't improve in the end. What about Speed Alcoholic? He's in sector 2, but he's 3.5 down. So I don't think he's going to get it. Lost a lot of time in that middle sector. DTS is slow. Sandman's on a lap. Scott's not on a lap. Palang has spun just as I ride on board with him. I've done it again. I've pressed the button by accident, and he was improving by 1.5, which would have seen him up to P8. That's a shame for him. What about Luke's? He's invalidated. Woomax coming into the pits, so it's all about Speed Alcoholic. He's invalidated. DTS not on a lap, so what can Sandman do? He's the last one to come across the line. I don't think Scott's on a lap. No, he's not. So it's all about this Ferrari driver. Can he improve in this final sector? Is he even trying to improve? I don't know if he's actually on a lap here. No, he's not. He's backed off. So that is your qualifying session. Love spinning Mercedes. Yeah, apparently I do. As they all come into the pit lane. And that is your qualifying session for Abu Dhabi. It's 22-1 for Martin. Is pole position. Lifebout in P2 just behind him, excuse me. Speed Alcoholic there in P3. It's those top three, definitely a league of their own, and everyone else fighting for the rest of the points paying positions. It's so close between everyone else in the grid as well. Why do they break the brake marker boards? That's not fair. I'm sure they didn't do it on purpose, Speed, but yeah, I can imagine that must be frustrating. Remember, ESRL, everyone is running with no assist, not even the racing line. It's all about pure racing in this league, everyone on the same playing field. But there we go. Martin takes his, I think, third pole position of the season, if I'm not mistaken, for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with a 22.150. Lifebout joins him on the front row, his first appearance this season in ESRL as a reserve. Speed Alcoholic there in P3. Spelled Wrong down in 4th with DTS Ayrton, RS, Sandman, Scott in P8. Trugster and Palang make out the rest of the top 10 with Jackalacco and Rick together on the grid. They'll love that. Luke's in P13, Woomax in 14th, QB 15th after his spin and crash, and Clemo could be one to watch. DSQ'd for blocking the pit lane unfairly. But I think he will be carving his way through the field. I'm sure he'll try at least. Right, here we go. Seven watching the stream. I'm assuming some of you are drivers who've just tuned in after qualifying. Good luck if you are for the race. It's going to be a tricky one. Always is in Abu Dhabi. The grip can be lacking on this circuit, so I think we'll see plenty of spins today. But here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's a great start for Martin, who goes off to cover Lifebelt, but there's contact. He moves over too far to cover the McLaren. Speed Alcoholic takes the Lewis Hamilton line through turn 1, but Martin leads the race. Spaled wrong up to P2 after all of that, and Lifebelt down to 3rd. He's going to be livid in that cockpit with that. DTS Ayrton looking to get up himself into P4 past RS around the outside as they go down towards turn 5. They're still side by side on the exit. And the Haas driver looks like he's made his way through. Luke's at the back at the moment. But everyone filing down towards turn 6. Speed Alcoholic looking to get his way past the AlphaTauri of RS straight away. Down the inside for turn 6, gets the move done, and the South African begins his recovery after that poor start. As there's a bit of contact between DTS and Lifebelt just ahead. Speed looking to profit. There's yellow flags. I think that was Scott who's gone round in sector 2, but Speed Alcoholic down the inside. Could he make a double overtake here on the run towards this long left-hander? They're still side by side. Speed Alcoholic is going to go round the outside of the Haas driver, but has to back out surely before this corner. Does indeed before the braking zone, but Speed right on the tail of this Haas. He started on the hard tyres. Let's get the tyres started on the screen. So Martin starting on the medium, Spale on the hards, as well as Speed, Lifebout, Sandman and Rick all starting on the hards. Everyone else on the medium tyres. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. An early safety car would put in a real dilemma for the hard runners, as Jackalacco already gets a track limits penalty. It's not a good start for him at all. But everyone filing through. Martin has a 1.2 second lead, but I think Lifebout might have something to say about that run towards turn 1, as they all go through. Lifebout right behind this Ferrari now. The two of them very close for pace. DTS on the mediums, of course, so he's on the fresher, the better tyre. But of course, Speed, we know from qualifying Speed, Lifebout much faster on raw pace than these two ahead of them. South African driver getting a little bit of lag there, unfortunately, but Lifebout losing out a lot of time through that chicane, really struggling on those hards. As they all go down towards this long left-hander, a bit of racing further back as Rick, Palang and Clemo all going for it. Clemo from the back of the grid is already up to P11, looking to profit even more here. Jackalacco just behind them, looking to profit if anything goes wrong. Nearly goes into the back of Clemo as the Red Bull brakes early to avoid the carnage ahead, but luckily no contact. That was very, very close. But through the final couple of corners they go. Martin already with an over 2 second lead. And of course that would all come crashing down immediately if there was a safety car. DRS now enabled, so we're going to get some proper overtakes coming in pretty soon, I would have thought. Speed Alcoholic right behind this Haas still, but not able to make any progress as of yet. Spaled Wrong's going to be in trouble here on the run towards turn 6. Let's get position changes on the screen. Up 2 for Spaled Wrong and DTS Ayrton. Clemo up 5 already, and down 8 for Scott after a spin, and down 3 for Lifebout. Terrible start for him after what happened between him and Martin, as well as Speed losing out as DTS Ayrton down the inside of the Alpine. He was indeed in trouble, was Spaled Wrong, as Speed nearly goes into the back of the Alpine as well, down towards the 6-7 chicane. Now DRS open again for Speed. He's using the ERS. He's not got much left already, but he's trying to get past both of these drivers. It's going to be an attempt at a double overtake for the South African. Breaks late. There's contact between him and Spaled, and DTS Ayrton profits perfectly, sends it down the inside, puts his car in the right place, but Speed's still on his inside as they go towards the braking zone. Who's going to come out in front? It's going to be the Haas, but Speed's going to still be side by side with him through sector 3. Surely not. Has to back out indeed, and Spaled Wrong Long now has the opportunity. They're still side by side as they go through, and Speed has lost all the positions that he gained briefly, and he's had contact with Lifeboat as well. And now RS looking to go around the outside. It's been a terrible start for Speed, but he's been so unlucky there as RS has spun it out of the final corner and collected Speed along with him. That is so unfortunate for the pair of them, especially Speed, and he's going to be desperately hoping for a safety car now to get him back into this one. Clemo, by the way, is also down to P13 again. He must have made a mistake as well, as Scott makes his way past Luke's, and RS down to Plum last now, but so unfortunate there for Speed Alcoholic. As he went for the double overtake but couldn't get it done, and then contact between him through sector 3, and then just got swamped as he went wide, and then got collected with RS spinning. Unfortunately, that's really unlucky incident, but everyone else seems to be going okay. Palang now under pressure from the Haas of Rick. As they go down towards the long left-hander, it's Rick with the DRS and the ERS round the outside of the Mercedes. Palang will look to hold position down the inside and does indeed do that. But Rick with the switchback on the exit. They're going to be side by side down towards this next braking zone. Surely that's not going to work. Palang cuts straight across Rick. And I think Rick will have had a heart-and-mouth moment. They're still side-by-side as Palang sends it. But I think Rick will now be ahead. And Womax is the next one to be putting pressure on this Mercedes. But that was definitely a heart-in-mouth moment for both of those drivers there. That could have been their races over, as Palang weaving down the straight, trying to warm up his tyres, and there is the spin from QB at the final corner, the next victim of that turn. But it's very much the Clemo train at the back at the moment, and the DTS Ayrton train near the front. Martin have a 4.3 second gap at the front on lap 5, as now Lifebout looking to make a double overtake of his own, but DTS covers the inside line as Spaled overtakes him. But here comes Lifebout now. He gets the better exit out of turn 7 and on the run down towards, I don't know if these kinks count as corners, but Lifebout with the DRS uses the ERS as well. It's going to be 3 wide down towards the long left-hander. Lifebout has the outside line. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. DTS with the better line, but Lifebout ran the outside, gets a bit squirrely on the exit, has to back out before the braking zone. He's going to get so frustrated now behind these two. He knows he's faster, but those hard tyres aren't letting him get by, as well as the DRS from DTS or whoever the middle car is at any time. So Lifebout needs to do something clever to get past these guys now, and he's got Trugster for company as well. As they all battle out for these podium positions. Sandman on his own in P6, Jack Alako as well in a bit of no man's land. And now Palang gotten back ahead of Rick somehow on that lap. I didn't catch that. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. That's QB round again. As now Speed leads this train. Jack Alako is round at turn 1. That's such a shame. He was having a fantastic race, and now he's going to be all the way down into this train, and Clemo goes around the outside of turn 2. There's a change for P2 further up though, as DTS Ayrton is getting past Spelled Wrong, and Lifebout trying to follow him down the inside of turn 6. It's going to be the outside of turn 7. Spelled leaves just enough room for Lifebout, but puts him on the curb. That's intelligent battling from Spaled, as now they all hurtle down towards the long left-hander, but still nothing gained for Lifebout. Trugster's just waiting for it all to go wrong. He'll just sail on past all of these three. Another driver who's improved an awful lot in the last year and a half or so, Trugster, in the AlphaTauri. And a podium in Division 1 would prove that without a doubt, but he needs to just be patient here, find a way past. Lifebout had a little look to the inside there. I don't know if he meant to do that, whether there was a bit of an oversteer moment rather, as Sandman heads into the pits already on the hard tyres. Must have taken damage at some point, surely. Is he going to repair his wing? He's retired from the session. Okay, so must be an outside issue for Sandman. Hope he's doing all right. But these 4 drivers still locked together as they hurtle down towards turn 6. in this DRS zone now. Lifeboat right behind this Alpine. Could he make a double overtake here? He's not using the ERS. He doesn't want to do anything too rash. He finds the middle lane, but it's quickly going to get closed off as they break for turn 6. A bit of contact between Speld and DTS Ayrton. What an amazing switchback from the Dutch driver as he now has the outside line of the three of them. They're going to be 3 wide down towards the long left-hander. Can Lifeboat get both of them in one go? Yes, he can. Fantastic move from the McLaren driver. Up to P2 he goes. 5.6 seconds up the road is TF Martin. He's very comfortable at the moment, but of course Lifeboat is going to be on the mediums in the latter stint as DTS nearly hits the back of Spale there. I didn't see if there was contact. Trugster into the wall. Joe, that's so unfortunate. He was keeping up with those guys so well, but he spun it on the exit as he was trying to find a way through. He's lost his front wing. We've got a VSC. Spaled Wong's gotten a 3-second time penalty. I'm sure that's probably going to get removed because I reckon that was for entering the pit lane, as stupid as this game is. DTS Ayrton stays out, but all of the top runners into the pits. I'm surprised Martin got in. I thought he'd already passed the pit lane, but he came into the pits and he's put on the hard tyres. He's lost minimal time as a result of that VSC. It's perfect timing for the former race leader. He exits in P2. Womax finds his way up to P3 after not pitting, but it's DTS Ayrton who now leads this race as Womax gets, in fact, passed out of the pit lane by the McLaren of Lifeboat. QB gets a drive through just to add to his woes after being 28 seconds down, but Lifeboat now in P3, and he's going to chase after that Red Bull. 4 seconds is the gap. It's come down by 1.6 thanks to that VSC in the pit lane. Spaled Wrong looking to make the move on Womax as well down the inside of turn 6, gets it done. Womax is going to have the DRS, is he? Or is it a double DRS zone? No, it's not. There's a detection point, so Womax will have the DRS, but Spaled Wrong will have it as well from Lifebout just ahead, and Womax is going to have to settle for P5. Speed Alcoholic is also one of the drivers who stayed out. He's hoping for a safety car to save his race here. Down in P6 at the moment. But Lifebout going to keep an eye on that gap. 4 seconds to Martin. It's down to 3.9 briefly, but we'll keep an eye on that over the next few laps, see if it's coming down or going up. As Mar now chases after DTS Ayrton as well, who stayed out. He leads the Division 1 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He's going to be very happy to be in the lead of this race. But of course, he still has to come into the pits, and he'll be hoping for a safety car here within the next few laps. Talking of which, QB round again in Sector 3, unfortunately. Losing a bunch of time to Scott there, who's pitted for fresh hard tyres. Another driver who's hoping for a safety car here. And Rick, Trugster and Palang still locked in fierce battle here, these three. Still within DRS of each other for this these last 2 points paying positions as it stands. P9 and 10. And all three of them have pitted as well as Rick goes around the outside of Trugster, breaks very late for turn 6, gets it stopped, but it's going to be the outside line for Trugster, but he can't quite get the exit thanks to the curb on the outside there of turn 7 as they hurtle down towards the long left-hander. It's DRS for only Rick, but somehow Trugster's found his way ahead with the straight line speed of that Alpha Tauri. Through they go side by side, but still Rick just about ahead. Martin sets the fastest lap now. Speed gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits just to add to the poor race he's had so far as Rick goes wide there on that tricky left-hander. So easy to lose it on the exit of that corner. I've done it many a time. But they all safely file through as Clemo catches up. Martin has caught DTS Ayrton by 3.5 seconds in 1 lap. That is outrageous pace from the Red Bull driver. Lifebout, though, is keeping up with that pace, but he is on the medium tyres. Martin is having an incredible burst of pace here. He was only pole by 1/10 of a second from Lifebout, but here he is just pulling away from the McLaren driver despite being on the hard tyres to Lifebout's mediums. QB's round again in Sector 3 is going to get lapped very soon. But Rick stays ahead of Palang for now, the Mercedes driver, with an awkward line through turn 7. That's not going to help him either. And in fact, he's going to be under pressure from the AlphaTauri of Trugster. And he's out VRS as well, which is not going to help. They approach Rick. He sends it down the inside. He looks to the inside, but it's too far back to send it, thank goodness. We've got yellow flags again. That's Luke's round in the McLaren on the exit. That's very unfortunate for him. But he was yet to stop anyway, so I think he would have gone all the way to the back once he stopped anyway, but still not ideal. Gets himself a track limits penalty as well, just to rub it in. As now Speed Alcoholic making the move on Womax down on the run to turn 1. Luke's has retired from the session. It's a safety car. How's he done that? He's binned it on the exit of this corner, just as I was saying. It's really easy to do there, and Luke's has done it after his spin earlier on. Those hot tyres were too much, into the wall, out of the race, and it is a safety car now, and it's perfect timing for the likes of Speed Alcoholic, Womax, RS, those who haven't pitted yet. It's only those three, and DTS Ayrton as well is in a good position here. But this has thrown a spanner in the works, and I wonder if those who've already pitted are going to pit again here for another set of mediums, whether Martin will do that, because now he's going to be under a lot of pressure. We saw that Lifebout was similar in pace to him in that stint so far, but with Lifebout being right behind him, he's going to be in a lot of pressure in that Red Bull. As they approach the pit lane now, has QB gone round under the safety car? I think he may have done. That's not ideal. But through the penultimate corner they come. DTS, of course, comes into the pits. Martin also does. Lifebout in as well. So they're all deciding to come in. Martin trying to do a Sebastian Vettel there on DTS Ayrton. Doesn't quite work. And as a result, Lifebout closes in a lot more. Spaled Wrong stays out, though. All of the top three come into the pits. Lifebout and Mar for fresh mediums to the end of the race. Who's going to come out ahead is going to be just about the Red Bull ahead of the McLaren. RS gets himself a track limits penalty under the safety car, but again, I think that's just for entering the pit lane. I think it's broken on this game, so if he doesn't get any more warnings, he might well get that one removed. It's Spelled Wrong, though, who leads the race now, having not pitted. 4-lap old mediums. It could work, you know, it could work. They're not that much older. Palang and Palang's done the same thing. Trugster, of course, on the hards has had a go at staying out as well. DTS Ayrton pitting for the hards as well after he was on the mediums in the first stint. They'll easily go to the end, as will the mediums, to be honest, from here. Maybe not easily. They'll be a bit dicey towards the end, but they'll be fine. So Spelled Wrong will be in trouble in the last few laps, I do think. It's a bold decision from the Mexican-American, but he might end up having a bad time in the last few laps if we don't get another safety car, but this is Abu Dhabi. We could well get another one at some point. Do not count it out. As they will now file around under the safety car. Speed Alcoholic catching up to the pack. He's back in this race. He's got a 3-second time penalty, which is not going to serve his cause very well, but he's at least caught back up to the pack thanks to the safety car, so he'll be happy about that. But nevertheless, he has a fair bit of work to do in that Ferrari. Scott and Giacalacco catching up to the safety car as well. Will QB be given the chance to catch? Well, he spins as I say that. I'm not sure how he's managed to spin there, if I'm being honest. I think, oh no, I know what he's done. He's gone on the curb on the exit of 7. and it spun him round. Yeah, it's a tough track. To be fair to him, it's a tough track. The grip is very minimal around here. So I don't know if the game will give him the chance to catch back up or not. He's got to be careful not to spin it again on the hot tyres as well. But everyone filing through, we have a chance to calm down a little bit before everything gets going once more, and it's going to be more exciting than ever, this race, after the safety car comes in. Everyone's going to be bunched up. We've got Martin and Lifebout trying to get past Spale and DTS as soon as possible. And Lifebout will be trying to get past the Red Bull to win this race and deny Martin those 7 extra points for winning the Grand Prix. QB in sector 1 at the moment, just coming to the end of that sector, and the safety car enters sector 3. So I don't think it will be in this lap if it lets QB catch up, but I mean, it usually comes in at the sector 3 line, doesn't it? So I think we will be out for another lap. It's going to let QB catch up. No, it's in this lap, in fact. No, it's waited late, and I think that may be because QB has a half spin, I'm not sure, but it's come in, and QB will not be given the chance to catch back up. He's going to be on his own, unfortunately for him, but Spaled Wrong leads the pack now. And Martin's into the wall! Martin spun it on the safety car restart. He's lost his front left end plate. And the championship P2, the P2 driver in the championship has spun it. Jack Alaco's done the same thing at the next corner. It's a disaster for Martin. He's into the pits for a new front wing. And the Red Bull driver has just bottled it in epic proportions. He's replacing his front wing. An absolute disaster for him. Soft tyres it will be. He's going to be desperately hoping for another safety car as now Lifebout goes for the outside line on the Haas driver of DTS Ayrton. He goes for the switchback on the exit. Speed Alcoholic getting past Trugster in the meantime as well. He's back in this race, but it's Short Marcus, if he's watching, will be rubbing his hands in glee at seeing that mistake from Martin. Speed Alcoholic sends it to the inside of Palang. Doesn't quite get the move done. Lifebout and DTS side by side. Lifebout gets the outside line, gets the better grip on the exit, and he's up to P2. DTS right behind. Is he going to try and make the move? He's not using ERS, so he's just going to sit behind the McLaren driver as now Lifebout chases after Spaled Wrong, and Spaled is going to be thinking, uh-oh. He's going to have seen Martin spin out, and he'll have known it was his opportunity to build a gap, but now here comes the Dutch driver, Lifebout. He is by far the fastest driver in these top 4. Fresh medium tyres as well on that McLaren, and with Martin's error, I don't know if there was contact. There could have been contact, but it looked like it was just an error to me. Palang spins it around the final corner as well, and cuts the pit entry to go into the pits. I don't know if he'll get pinged for that in the steward's room, but now Lifebout already right on the back of this Alpine. Look at the extra pace he's got in that McLaren. He's going to go round the outside of turn 6. There's no DRS yet, so it's all about the raw pace, and Lifebout gets ahead. It's going to be he goes to the outside to break the slipstream. No, Spaled Wrong uses that slipstream to send it back down the inside, and the Alpine driver back into the lead of this race. Is Lifebout going to send it into turn 6? Yes, he is, down the inside. They're still side by side as they go through the chicane. Lifebout goes wide to get the better exit, but I don't know if he's going to be close enough to make the move here, and he's still going to have to stick behind this Alpine. Spaled Wrong doing a fantastic job to keep him behind there. Yellow flags, that's Martin. Martin's retired from the session. What has happened to Martin? He's retired on track. He's retired on track. And he might be in trouble with the stewards for that one. He has lost his head, has the German driver. He is out of this race. No points for him. Short Marcus will continue to lead this championship despite not even being here. Martin loses his head. DRS is enabled now, and here comes Lifebout. It's his opportunity here to win this race in Abu Dhabi. Spaled wrong a little bit wide at turn 1. I wonder if Ma is going to be upset with contact, because it looked like he just spun it on his own. We've got a VSC for something. I'm not sure what. Is it Rick? Yeah, it's Rick gone round at turn 1, and Jack Alacco gets past him, but Rick with no front wing on that Haas. He's binned it into the wall. That's the reason for the VSC. And not ideal for the Dutchman at all. QB into the pits again for a set of hards. Oh, there's contact between DTS and Speed Alcoholic by the looks of it. I think Speed might have braked too late there. Is there damage to the Ferrari? No visible damage, but there it looked like there was contact. This race is absolute chaos at the moment. DTS losing a huge amount of time. Palang's not happy with Speed in the chat, so obviously that was the reason for his spin at the final corner. And DTS having to slow for the Delta there. Truckster gets a drive-through. I think there was another drive-through there as well. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, for RS as well. Both AlphaTauris getting a drive-through. Oh, that's such a disaster for them. Lifeboat right behind this Alpine still. There he goes. Nose to tail through the last few corners. Is Spaled into the pits? Yes, he is. Pit lane for Spaled. Wrong. He's going on to a fresh set of tyres. He doesn't think they'll make it to the end. So now it's all about everyone else. Trugster spinning as well. Lifebout now leads this race by 1.7 seconds from DTS Ayrton, who's got his best chance, I think, for a very long time to get himself on an ESRL Division 1 podium here in that Haas. He's driven a fantastic race so far. Bit of contact there with Speed. I doubt it was his fault. Here comes the Ferrari with DRS, but there's a time penalty on that car. As they head down towards turn 6, Speed has the inside line, and DTS looks to the inside in the braking zone but doesn't make the move. Palang retires in the pits along with Rick. They've both retired in the pits. A lot of drivers retiring either on track or in the pits today. It's not been a good day for a lot of drivers, but Lifebout in the lead of this race by some margin now. Speed Alcoholic is going to look to chase him, but that penalty is really going to come back to bite him later on in this race. DTS Ayrton in P3. Has he ever had an ESRL podium before? I'm not sure, to be honest. He'll have to tell me in the Discord. But if he hasn't, this is the greatest chance he's ever had to get one, I think. I'm not sure he'll keep up with Speed and stay within the 3 seconds of the Ferrari, but staying ahead of RS can't be too difficult. And RS, in fact, in for his drive-through, of course, so it's going to be Womax who takes P4. It's going to be Scott into the top 5 in his Aston Martin. Jack Alacco up to P6 as well. Spaled wrong. Is going to try and hunt them down here in his Alpine on those fresh medium tyres. I'm still not sure why he came in. I think he must have just thought he won't make it to the end, I think. Clemo on the softs as well, further back. It's been an absolutely chaotic race here in Abu Dhabi, as it often is in league racing at this track. But DTS is staying with Speed for now. He's still in that DRS range of the Ferrari. On those hard tyres, he's doing a fantastic job as the Greek driver, but he's going to run out of ERS very soon. He's got about 25% less than Speed. If we look at the steering wheel there, down towards this long left-hander. Used to be a chicane here. I quite liked that chicane when it was here. I was quite disappointed to see that it had gone, but it's better for racing. It's better for racing that long left-hander's there now. As they file past the hotel. Speed gets a huge moment on the exit there, nearly bins it from P2. He's going to get himself a podium here as long as he doesn't do anything like that for the remaining 11 laps, but it is a long way to go still in this race. Believe it or not, it feels like we're near the end because of all the DNFs, but no, a long way to go still in this race. But Speed Alcoholic and DTS pulling away very quickly from the Williams of Womax. But if Palang is to be believed in the chat, and also the contact with DTS as well, if it was contact, it looked like it was. Speed could be in a bit of trouble with the stewards later on. Clemo sets the fastest lap, unsurprisingly, on those soft tyres. He's in P9. And if there's one more DNF, QB, despite being nearly a lap down at one point, Jackalacco, by the way, getting past Scott there on the run to turn 6. But despite nearly being a lap down at one point, and having about 18 spins, QB could find himself with a point here if there's one more DNF in this race. RS down in P8 after his drive through, a bit wide on the exit there as well, just for good measure, of turn 7. But here we've got a big fight for P4 brewing between the Bulgarian driver of Womax, the Scottish driver of Jackalacco, and the English driver of Scott. But Jackalacco's round just as I say it. I've cursed him. I have cursed Jackalacco as he goes round at the same corner that Martin went round earlier on. RS gets himself another time penalty further back, but Jacko back behind Spaled Wrong now, who's chasing these two, Womax and Scott, very, very quickly. He's less than 5 seconds between him and them now. Scott penalties has got a 3-second penalty to his name, so he will have to clear them by 3 seconds as well. But he's catching them very, very quickly. And Spaled Wrong could still see himself into P4 here. Every time you've looked up, someone is in a wall. Yeah, it's been like that. It's been one of those races, really. As DTS sends it down the inside of Speed. He is driving a fantastic race. Like about 6 seconds in the front. He has got no chance of losing this race now unless there's a very late safety car and some more drama happens in this race. And the way it's gone, I wouldn't be surprised. But Speed gets back around the outside of DTS at the next DRS zone. But these two still locked together. The Haas driver looking to get himself P2 here. I think he did get a podium. I think he got one in that absolute carnage of a race. Maybe a couple of seasons ago, was it Hungary maybe, where he got himself a podium, but I don't know if he was P3 or 2, but he's looking for P2 here, and especially if Speed is going to be in trouble with the stewards on top of that 3-second penalty he's got. DTS in a fantastic position here, and who knows if Lifebelt bottles it, he could even be in for the win here. What a drive he's having. Womax still losing time to those two, now 10 seconds behind them. Scott is out of the DRS range of the Williams. He was being helped by Jacko to stay in that train, but now Jacko's binned it. Scott has slowly fallen away from the Williams as DTS down the inside of Speed again through turn 6. It's deja vu from the last lap, and it's going to be deja vu again down this next straight because Speed's going to have the DRS. He's going to look to the inside this time, though, but he's going to make that move well before the corner, I think. Truckster getting another penalty further back as he comes into the pit lane. Another unjust warning there, I'm sure. But Speed up to P2. DTS Ayrton still just behind him, though, and I think they're going to be swapping positions more times towards these last few laps. But DTS is going to be on the better tyres in the last couple of laps because Speed's mediums are going to start to wear down. They probably already have, and DTS's aren't quite in that wear window yet. But talking of incredible drives, Spaled Wrong is now back in DRS range of Scott. He was 4 seconds behind them not that long ago, just a couple laps, and now the Alpine driver looking to get himself into P5 on track. Womax goes about into Qatar there, he was that wide. Jackalacco speeds in the pit lane and gets 5 seconds just to add to his day of woe after a spin earlier on. Here comes Spale to the outside of the Aston Martin. Scott doesn't fight him too hard. He knows the sheer pace differential between the two of them, and now Spaled is going to hunt after Womax just ahead. He won't get him into turn 6, but I think turn 9 I'm assuming. It's going to be game over for the Williams in terms of keeping this charging Alpine behind. DRS is going to open across the line, and it's going to be a very easy pass for Spaled Wrong up to P4, and I'm pretty sure he will be able to pull those 3 seconds without breaking a sweat in that Alpine, and he will get a very, very well-deserved P4 here for his efforts today. And I think it was probably the right decision to pit. I don't know if he would have stayed ahead of speed in DTS. Luke's has left the session, he was already out. Scott, though, as a result of the Spaled Wrong bullet getting past both of them, Scott has weaseled his way back into the DRS range of the Bulgarian driver ahead. His hard tyres are 4 laps older, and he shows it as he goes wide at turn 1, but nowhere near as wide as Womack's went on the previous lap. But here comes the DRS detection point at the end of this little straight, and I think Scott has lost out just about 1.2 as they go across that detection line, and no DRS, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin. But I'll tell you who does have DRS. DTS Ayrton still on the back of Speed Alcoholic. Lifebout leads by over 10 seconds now, and it would be the bottle of the year if he didn't win this race from here, unless there's a late safety car, then I'll let him off. But DTS still looking for a way past Speed. He doesn't need to get past the Ferrari. Speed does have that track limits penalty to his name, although of course it may have been the glitch from entering the pit lane, who knows. It looks like he got a warning there though. He was very wide there, but remember, he could well be in trouble with the stewards as well, could the South African, as Spaled Wrong looks to catch them up, and within 1 lap he is already 3.8 seconds ahead of Womack. That is outrageous pace from Spaled Wrong. Who still has the fastest lap? Is it still Clemo? It is, a 24.4. Spaled Wrong only a second slower than that on those medium tyres. He's only a 10th slower than Lifebout's fastest lap. I know he had less fuel when they both set their best laps, but even so, mighty impressive pace from Spaled Wrong. And the pace he's going, he might even be able to catch up and get himself on the podium if Speed does get into quite a bit of trouble with the stewards. It would need to be quite a bit of trouble, but who knows? Spaled, after stewards, could find himself in the top 3 after all of that. Scott through 6 and 7. Still on the back of Womack's. Let's change back to interval here. He's back in the DRS range of the Williams. They seem to be fluctuating, these gaps. I think Womack's is better in the final sector than Scott, or the final and first sectors, and then Scott catches him up in the middle sector. Let's test that theory as they come through the final sector now. Scott about 5.5 tenths behind. They come around these 2 left-handers. Scott's still about 5 tenths behind. Now 4.5 tenths. So there goes my theory, straight into the dustbin as they go around the final corner. But Scott is going to look for a top 5 finish here in ESRL Division 1, which I'm sure he would be absolutely ecstatic with. RS is too far behind, as is Clemo, I think. He doesn't have a penalty, but those soft tyres are going to be screaming within the next few laps, I think, for the Red Bull. I don't think he's going to be able to catch 6 seconds on those tyres. But who knows? We know how fast he can be, Clemo. But is he that fast? Time will tell. Jack Alacco on those soft tyres, just looking to get to the end of this race with some points, I think. And would you look at that? QB is in the points. Trugster has pitted for a fresh set of softs to try and get the fastest lap, or maybe he crashed, I'm not sure. But QB is into P10. Trugster's got a penalty as well, but it's still going to be a slog for QB to get a point out of this. But to give himself the chance is still a fantastic effort to stay in this race despite all of that that's happened to him. A lesser man would have just retired in the pit lane. But here he is, possibly snatching a point from this one, as Scott has indeed found his way past Womack on 4 laps older hard tyres. 17 laps he's done on those, and it's going to be 20 laps by the end. Perseverance of QB is impressive. I'll tell you what, Louis, I raced with QB a long time ago, and he's always been like this. Never been towards the front in terms of pace, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter what goes wrong, it doesn't matter how slow he is, he always finishes the race. So it's great to see that some things never change in that respect. But DTS looking to the inside of Speed for turn 6, nearly making contact as he takes a wide line on the exit of 6, which gives him a compromised run for 7. And he's too far behind to make the move down towards 9 as Womack retakes the 5th place position from Scott down towards turn 6. But it's going to be a run to turn 9. Scott's got 50% ERS in the tank. Womack has got nothing. Scott will have seen the flashing light. There it is. He knows Womack has got nothing left. Down the inside goes the British driver for P5, and he makes the move. Womack's nothing he can do on that straight with no battery left. And just 3.5 laps left to go in this race for these guys. Speed Alcoholic gets himself another penalty though, and I think that one is definitely gonna stay. He's got 6 seconds now on that Ferrari. Spaled Wrong is 7 seconds behind DTS Ayrton. If Speed really starts slowing down here in these last few laps on those worn medium tyres, Spaled Wrong could be in with a chance even before Stewards of getting this podium. He's only 7 behind. He needs another 4 seconds in the last 3 laps. It is not unheard of. He's got 5 laps fresher tyres. And if Speed and DTS continue to battle, that gap is going to come down very, very quickly. So who knows, as DTS does indeed send it to the inside of Speed. This is going to slow both of them down an awful lot. It's nearly they make contact. That was so close between the two of them on the exit of 6 there. And now through turn 7, QB DTS Ayrton has got the DRS and makes the move up to P2 on track for the Haas driver. Speed Alcoholic down to 3rd, and that has cost them both about a second to Spaled Wrong. He's 6.3 behind now. He needs another 3.3 in the last 2.5 laps. Can he do it? Can he get himself on the podium before the stewards? Time will tell. Scott is currently still in P5 ahead of Womack. RS is catching both of them. He's got a lot of pace in that AlphaTauri, as does Clemo, of course, who's staying with the Jamaican. Through sector 3 now they go. Clemo nearly locking the rears there through the braking zone. QB has indeed now lost too much time to Drugster to be back in the points, but it's not over yet. Still only lap 28 of 29. Another couple laps for something to go wrong up ahead of him. But Speed Alcoholic now just behind DTS, nearly goes into the back of him. I think that might have just been the perspective. It looked like he approached him very quickly. But now down towards turn 6 they go. It's going to be an easy pass for the Ferrari. DRS. And nothing that DTS can or really wants to do about that. 2 laps to go in this race. Down towards turn 6, DTS nearly hitting the back of the Ferrari as they brake for the apex. But nothing gained. Spaled Wrong has gained another second on them in that lap. It's not enough as it stands. 2 laps to go. He's got no ERS left either on that Alpine, so he's going to be losing time to the two of them all the way down straight. But if they battle a bit more, Spaled could still get himself onto the podium here. It's going to be close, I think, at the line. Lifebout takes us onto the final lap. Womack gets back past Scott for P5. This battle's going to go all the way to the line, I think, for that top 5 position. Scott's going to want it very bad in that Aston Martin. But Womack with no ERS left. How much has Scott left? 50%. So it's advantage Scott as they go through the final sector of the penultimate lap. But look at Clemo and RS. They could join the party as well. Clemo 1.6 behind. It's going to be a final lap shootout for P5 between these 3 drivers. RS is there as well, but he's got the time penalty as DTS challenges Speed through turn 5. Now the run to 6 is going to have the DRS. Spelled Wrong is 4.9 seconds behind DTS Ayrton. Can he do it? He's going to need them to battle a lot. And here comes DTS down the inside of the Ferrari. They're going to go side by side through 6. Speed has to slow down to avoid contact. Nothing he could do about it. It was good racing from both of them. DTS up to P2. Speed is going to have the ERS and the DRS down towards turn 9. DTS has got nothing left. And Speed round the outside, makes the move, stick, does he? DTS sends it to the inside. He looks to the to go side by side. They still go side by side. This could be perfect for Spelled Wrong, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough for him. Meanwhile, Lifebout comes round the final corner to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. What a drive from him. Speed, Alcoholic and DTS are going to come around the last few corners. Scott and Womack still battling through turn 9. They're side by side for P5 here. Clemo's just behind them if anything goes wrong. Speed, Alcoholic and DTS are going to come across the line. It's going to be Speed in P2 on the line, but DTS takes it after penalties. Will Spelled Wrong manage to get the podium? No, 8/10 in it in the end, but Scott still leads this train down towards the last few corners. Can Womack do anything? There's contact, and the Bulgarian driver's round. Oh, it's a disaster for Womack. That's so undeserved. There was nothing either of them could do about it. That's a really unfortunate racing incident, but it does mean Womack is going to be P8 in the end. RS finishes in 7th. Clemo 3/10 behind Scott. That was a hectic final lap for those four. But Womack will be very disappointed, and rightly so. Jack Alacco with Trugster as well. They're both fighting here for P9. There's still one more points paying position on offer. They've both got the same amount of penalties. Can Trugster do anything in the last few corners? There's still battling going on. Only 2 cars left on the track. But I don't think Trugster's going to be quite close enough to snatch that extra point in the end. Jackalaka around the final corner. Trugster gets a lock up on the curb. And that is your race. Whoa. Chaos in the Yas Marina circuit in ESRL. But great entertainment on the spectator sidelines. Clemo gets driver of the day from the game. My driver of the day is undoubtedly going to DTS Ayrton. What a drive from the Greek driver. P2, well deserved. He was definitely Lifebout. Of course, unbelievable pace in that last stint. But DTS Ayrton, behind Lifebout, was definitely the best driver on the grid out of those that were left. He really gave that race his all. Had great pace, P2, great podium for him, and a deserved driver of the day from me. That was a great race to watch, says Louis. I couldn't agree more. That was great entertainment. I think some drivers are going to be very, very unhappy in the stewards' room, but that's not my problem. I will be keeping an eye on the stewards' findings, though, and mention them next week. But Lifebout takes the win by 18 seconds in the end in Abu Dhabi after Mar 10 seemingly lost it at the safety car restart. But I don't know if there was contact. We'll have to find out. DTS Ayrton finishes a wonderful P2. So well deserved from him. Speed Alcoholic finishes P3, but he could be in a bit of trouble in the stewards' room a bit later on. Spelled Wrong P4 by the barest of margins in the end. Scott does manage to secure 5th place. Clemo 6th. What a recovery from him with the fastest lap as well. RS in P7. Jacko P8. Trugster and Womack make out the final points. QB a lap down, unfortunately, and then everyone else DNFing from the race. Whew, what a great race in ESRL. Great entertainment. Hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. But I think that will be that. I'll see you all next week, where ESRL will be back. I'm not sure what track it is. My phone's currently elsewhere, so I can't check either. But I'm sure it'll be a great race regardless of the circuit. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Leave a like on the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe as well. Do appreciate it on my road to 200 subscribers. No problem. Is it Jas or Yas? Or something else completely? Good guy. But thank you, appreciate it. It's my pleasure. And I'll see you all next week for more ESRL. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.